series. So that's the last segment of our chapter, sequence and series. So in series, what we are going to learn, we are going to learn various processes by which we can find the sum of sequences. Okay. So basically we are going to learn summation, right? So how to do summations, right? So before we start with the process, I would like to just quickly cover up what we are going to do in this chapter. We are going to first learn up sigma method of summation. Sigma method of summation, one of the widely used methods of summation when you know the Rth term, okay? And if at all, it fits into a special requirement, then this method works absolutely wonderful, okay? The next method that we are going to learn is your method of difference. Method of difference. Under this method, there is one more special method, which is called the VN method. So including VN method, we'll talk about it. So these are the two types of methods that we are going to learn. So for the next 1.5 hours of our remaining part of our class, we are going to just do these two methods. Okay. So let us begin with sigma method of summation, right? So sigma method of summation basically works on your special series. So for understanding this concept, we have to talk about some special series. Okay. What are those special series? Okay. Special series are nothing but they are the building blocks of your sigma method of summation, right? So if you understand these building blocks, you can keep using it for sigma method of summation. So what are these special series? Number one is your sum of all natural numbers from 1 to n, which we write it as sigma of r. R from 1 to n, right? So sum of all natural numbers from 1 to n. We all know this result. We don't have to derive it. We had already derived it in our AP chapter. This is actually an arithmetic progression itself. So this result will be very, very useful in your sigma method of summation. Next is sum of squares of natural numbers from 1 to n. Oh, ciao. By the way, before we move on, do you all realize that if I sum from 1 to n minus 1, my n will be replaced with n minus 1 in this formula? Does everybody know it? Right? And second thing is, your formula will not work if you're not starting from 1 and going to some value. Let's say if you're starting from 2 and going to n, then this formula will not work. I hope you are aware of those two facts. Okay. All right. Most of you are aware of it. Yeah. So sum of squares of natural numbers. How do you find it out? Now I'll derive it actually. The result is n plus 1 to n plus 1 by 6. Some of you just know the result. You don't know the derivation part of it. So we'll derive it. Okay. We'll derive this result. So I'll start with a very interesting expression, k plus 1 cube minus k cube, right? So if you write this expression, you all know that it is 3k square, 3k plus 1, isn't it? Now, some of you would be wondering why at all I chose this expression and what am I going to do with it? So first of all, you all agree with that this is an identity. It is a well-proven identity. No problem with this. Okay. Now I'm going to put the values of k as 1. So when I put 1, I get 2 cube, 1 cube, 3 into 1 square, 3 into 1 plus 1. Okay. So we all know that this is true. So when you put 2, you get 3 cube minus 2 cube, 3 into 2 square, 3 into 2 plus 1. When you put 3, you get 4 cube minus 3 cube, 3 into 3 square, 3 into 3 plus 1. If you continue it till you reach n, you will get n plus 1 cube minus n cube is equal to 3 into n square plus 3 into n plus 1. Okay. Just add them all. That means add all the terms to the left hand side of the equal to and add all the terms on the right hand side of the equal to. Now on the left hand side of the equal to, you would realize that these terms will start cancelling out. Okay. Ultimately leaving you with n plus 1 cube minus 1 cube. That is, this guy and this guy will survive. On the right hand side, just focus on adding these columns first. Okay. So it gives you 3 times 1 square, 2 square, 3 square up till n square, whose sum is supposed to be found out, right? We are trying to find out its sum. This side gives you this side gives you 3 times 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till n. Okay. And this side gives you 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 n times, that is nothing but n. Correct? Now, let's simplify this. So this is nothing but n cube 3n square plus 3n. This, let us call it as s for the time being. Okay. This is nothing but 3 times n plus 1 by 2 plus n. Let's multiply throughout with a 2. Here I'll get 3n n plus 1 plus 2n. Okay. So this is 6s plus 3n square plus 5n. Okay. And on this side, you have 2n cube. So I think when you try to adjust the terms, you'll get 2n cube. 3n square, here I'll get 3n square. 6n, and here I'll get an n. Okay. So 6s is going to be, take n common, 2n square 3n plus 1, which is nothing but n plus 1 into 2n plus 1, that is 6s. So s is equal to n plus 1, 2n plus 1 by 6. Hence proved. Okay, so those who are not aware how this formula comes, it comes from this method. Now this method itself is a kind of a method of difference, which is your second method that I said we are going to discuss in some time. So this is a very interesting way of proving all the special series sums. For example, 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube till n cube can also be proven in a similar way. Okay, so those who are interested, please note down this proving and do let me know if you are done. How do you write this? Yeah, I've been writing it for so many years now. Yeah, can you move on to the next page? See, by the use of mathematical induction, Gayatri, you verify, you prove something. You cannot derive it. That's the difference between induction and deriving. Induction is there to prove something. You already know the result. You want to just verify whether that result is correct. Then induction works. But induction cannot be used to prove something. So here I'm proving it, or I'm trying to derive the result. Okay. Yeah. So in a similar way, you should also be knowing the sum of cubes of natural numbers from 1 to n. So 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, till n cube. It is basically nothing but n plus 1 by 2 the whole square. Easy to remember because it is borrowing its answer from, or its result from, the sum of all natural numbers. Okay. Again, try to prove it. Okay. Prove it as homework. Hint would be start with k plus 1 to the power 4 minus k to the power 4. I hope all of you know that it is 4k cube, 6k square, 4k plus 1. Okay, use this. Okay, just a hint. One more result I would like to give you, but this is not going to be important. Sum of fourth powers of natural numbers. I have never seen a problem which asks you to go to fourth powers, but still I'm giving you in case you need it. It's actually n plus 1, 2n plus 1, 3n square plus 3n minus 1 upon 30. Don't try to prove it. Don't try to prove it. Don't waste your time. ये ऐसे भी नहीं पूछेगा कोई. ठीक है? Just for extra knowledge I have given you. Okay? Don't try proving it. Okay? Now, the main agenda is, where are we going to use these special series, right? So for that, I would not give you any theory. I'm just going to jump into a question so that we know how do we apply these 4 formulas or 3 formulas for that matter in solving questions using sigma method of summation. So let me directly illustrate this with an example. Okay, examples are best way to understand how to apply sigma method of summation. One or two examples I'll take and then I'll give you a break. I understand all of you are earning for a break. Let's take a question. Question, where is my question? Yeah, let's take this question. Find the sum of n terms of this series. Find the sum of n terms of this series. So this is a series which goes like 1 into 2 square. By the way, this dot is into. Okay, don't read it as 1.2 square. So 2 into 3 square, 3 into 4 square, till n terms. Okay, now and try to understand the process. Oh, you want to try it? You're more than welcome to do it. Okay, those who want to try it, please try it out. Giving you 1 minute for it. 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. Just say done once you're done. No need to give me the answer. Done. Very good. Very good. Pranav. Nice. Okay, for others who have no clue how to solve these questions, so the method is number one, write down your nth term or rth term, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing in the name. Let's say rth term, right? So if you go to any particular rth term, r being some position between 1 and n, what will that term be? I'm sure you can all guess it. That will be r plus 1 square. Correct? Anybody has a problem in identifying that? No, right? Okay. Guys, let me tell you, this looks to be a very simple step. This is the very first step. But many people don't write the rth term correctly. If you make a mistake in writing the rth term, you are gone. Problem will be definitely be wrong. Okay. Why? Because the second step, you are going to apply the sigma on TR from R equal to 1 till n. What is sum? Sum is nothing but summing up your T1, T2, T3, T4 till Tn, isn't it? Right? So aren't you applying sigma on your TR, which is R plus 1 square? Okay, from R equal to 1 till n. Okay. Now, how do we do this? We have never seen a result like this before. No worries, we'll be breaking it up into simpler forms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this up as R cube 2R square plus R. Okay. And I'm going to individually break this up as summation R cube from 1 to n, summation 2R square from 1 to n, and summation R from 1 to n. So what I did was I expanded the result and I broke it down into separate summations. Yes or no? Yeah. So now summation of R cube, this term is already known to us. It is the sum of cubes of natural numbers from 1 to n. And that result is, let me write it in white color. And that result is n into n plus 1 by 2 the whole square. Correct. Now this 2, you can always bring outside. Right. So let me make that change here itself. So this fellow 2, bring it outside. Why we are bringing it outside the summation process? It is like you are multiplying 2 into 1 square, 2 into 2 square, 2 into 3 square. So 2 can be always be taken out common. Correct. So 2 into summation of R square is already known to us. So thanks to those special series that we are already aware of these building blocks. Remember, I called them the building blocks. Okay. Summation R is already known to us, n into n plus 1 by 2. Correct. So this becomes your answer. Now, people ask me, sir, do I have to leave it in this form? Absolutely no. You have to simplify it, but I am not going to do it. Right? Okay. So simplification, is your task, right? You definitely do it when you're doing it in the exam. But yes, one thing that I'm going to advise you over here is always do a verification. Okay, how am I sure that this answer is correct? Verification. What I'm going to do is, instead of n, I'm going to put a 2. Okay, so if I put a 2, let's see what result I get from here. So 2 into 3 by 2 square. This is 2 into 2 into 3 into 5 by 6. This is 2 into 3 by 2. Correct. Let's check what do I get. This is nothing but 9. This is nothing but 10. And this is nothing but 3. 22 I'm getting. Do I get the same when I add the first two terms? If I add these two, do I get 22? Check. 4 plus 18. Oh yes, I get 22. That means the result which I have got is absolutely correct. This is very, very important activity. Many people don't do verification. They think that they are holier than anybody, and of course they would have got it correct. Right? Hardly takes 30 seconds, 25 seconds to verify your result. Is it clear how it works? Is this clear? Okay. Now, the same task, I will start with a very simple example. Let me begin with this example. Right in front of you, I have given two questions. Okay, whose nth term is given to you? So instead of giving you the entire series, they have given you what is the nth term. So obviously, when you know the nth term, you can always build up the series. Okay, we have to find out the sum of this series. Let's do this question. To evaluate the sum, we substitute first or we simplify first? You should always substitute first, because kya pata aapka answer wrong ho, right? So why you want to waste time simplifying it, right? Hariharan, isn't it? So it's like when you're making a connection, you first test it out and then you put it in your actual circuit. Okay, good question, by the way. Sum of n terms of a series whose nth term is, let's do the first one first. We'll talk about the second one a little later on. And just say done if you're done. Done. Very good. Okay. So guys, for the first question, if you have been given nth term, means you are given the rth term also. It's all about replacing. It's all about replacing n with an r, right? So what's your sum? Sum is sigma on tr from r equal to 1 till n, right? So it's a sigma on this guy. Now this guy is actually r square minus 1 into r from r equal to 1 till n. Correct? It's nothing but sigma on r cube minus r. Okay, so you can individually write it as sigma r cube from r equal to 1 till n minus sigma r from 1 to n. Okay, now this result is already known to us. Let's make the use of those results. N into n plus 1 by 2 the whole square. This result is also known to us, n into n plus 1 by 2. Okay, this is going to be a sum till n terms. Anyways, if I want, I can simplify it also quickly. It doesn't take a bomb to simplify it. N into n plus 1 by 2 minus 1. Okay. So this will give me n into n plus 1 by 4, and this is nothing but n square plus n minus 2. Okay. Is this factorizable? Is this factorizable? Is this factorizable? I think it is n plus 2 into n minus 1. Right? So please confirm, are you getting this as the answer? N plus 2 into n square minus 1 by 4. Okay. Again, please do verify. So let's move on to the second one. N square plus 3 to the power n. How will you do that question? Anybody done? Do let me know. Just say done for the second one. Or write 2 done. Good, Aditya. Absolutely. All right. So those who are worried about, okay, I found the Rth term. Rth term is this. But sir never told us how to sum up 3 to the power r, right? See, don't worry. Don't worry about the second term. The second term is actually a GP. Okay. What is this? This is a geometric progression, right? So I don't have to give you summations of all the terms. So this is like saying 3 to the power 1, 3 to the power 2, da 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 da, till 3 to the power n. We all know the sum, right? Isn't it? And summation of r square is n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. And this guy's summation is a common ratio to the power total number of terms minus 1 by common ratio minus 1. Okay. So of course this is going to be the answer, and I'm not going to simplify it because you already know the. Okay. I don't think so this will be simplified also. Okay. Is the idea clear how it works? Fine. So what we'll do is we'll take a quick break, right? We'll do some paid puja. Okay. Have some water, have some tea, eat something, and come back again. Let's continue with more problems on sigma method of summation. So last problem was on finding the sum of this series, I believe. Yeah, this one we did. So let's do this one. Find the sum of this series 1 cube by 1 plus 1 cube by 1 plus 1 cube plus 2 cube by 1 plus 3, 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube by 1 plus 3 plus 5 up to n terms. Up to n terms. I would request everybody to give it a try. Take around 1.5 minutes. No need to simplify your answer. If at all the answer is quite complicated, leave it up to that extent. But yes, we'll definitely verify our results. Yes, any success, anybody? Okay, so guys, the first step that we are going to do is we are going to write down the Rth term itself. Oh, Aditya is done. Okay. Rth term itself is 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube till R cube by 1 plus 3 plus 5 up till 2R minus 1. Okay. All right. So if you see the top term, it's itself a special series whose sum will be R plus 1 by 2 the whole square. Okay. Whereas the bottom is an arithmetic progression, or you can say arithmetic series, whose sum will be total number of terms by 2 by the sum of the first and the last term. Okay. So I think this will give you a R square. So this is nothing but R square, R plus 1 whole square by 4 by R square. So R square gone, right? So it's 1/4 of R plus 1 the whole square. Okay. Now, the second step is you have to apply your sigma method on TR, right? That means you have to do 1/4 of summation of R plus 1 the whole square, right? Now, there are two ways to do it. One is, of course, you expand it like this, R square 2R plus 1, okay? And apply individually summation on each one of them, okay? That will give you 1/4 n plus 1 to n plus 1 by 6 to n into n plus 1 by 2, and finally this n. Okay, this is one way to do it. Now I would like you to understand this summation from a different point of view. See the same term, can I do it like this? We'll say let R plus 1 be k. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm summing up k square, right? But here one big change will be from where to where you are summing it. If your R is 1, k will be 2. And if your R is n, k will be n plus 1. So now you are summing it from 2 to n plus 1, right? So can I do it like this? Can I say it's 1/4 summation of k square from k equal to 1 till n plus 1 minus 1 square. So what I did, instead of starting from 2, I started from 1. But because I'm starting from 1, I have to subtract the square of the first term, or k square for k equal to 1, isn't it? Because I'm starting little early. I have to start from 2, but I'm starting from 1 only. Okay. So this makes our life quite easy because you already know the sum of squares of natural numbers from 1 to n. So you also know the sum of squares of natural number from 1 to n plus 1. So karna kya hai? All you have to do is change your n with n plus 1. So instead of n, you will write n plus 1. Instead of n plus 1, you will write n plus 2. Instead of 2n plus 1, you will write 2n plus 1 plus 1 by 6 minus 1. Right? In other words, your answer becomes 1/4 of n plus 1, n plus 2, 2n plus 3 by 6 minus 1. Okay. So both of them will give you the same result. Don't worry. They may differ in their way they look, but they will give you the same result. Okay. So this answer and this answer would be the same. Is it fine? So why I discussed you with this approach is because in case you want to simplify your term, this would be much simpler to take. This approach will be much simpler to take. Is this fine? Any questions? Any questions? Any approach? Any questions? Any concerns? So those who solved it by the previous method, do have a look at this method also. Sometimes it may be more efficient than the previous method. Okay. Now, the next thing that we are going to learn is method of difference. Method of difference. Now, method of difference is basically used when you know that there is a sigma method of summation involved, but you do not know your Rth term. Okay, let me begin with a question. Probably that will make more sense to you coming from a problem statement. So let's say I want to, let's say this question. Question is, we have to find the sum of this series But the problem is we do not know the nth term. Okay, we do not know the nth term in this case. So how will I solve this question? So here, let me explain this as an example to you. So for sigma method of summation, our first and the foremost requirement is what is the rth term, or for that matter, what is the nth term. Till we know the nth term, we will not be able to apply sigma method of summation. So the most important requirement for you to apply sigma method of summation is to know your rth term, or for that matter, knowing your nth term, right? So in this case, we do not know it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this series again, but one shifted to the right. Okay. So if you do that, this is what you're going to write. Correct? Let's take their difference. And because you do that, it is called the method of difference. Okay. So this gives you 1 plus 4 plus, this will give you a 7. This will give you a 10. This will give you a 13 and so on. This will give you a tn minus 1 minus tn. Okay. Now, this last tn that you see, you take it to the left. So you have 1 plus 4 plus 7 plus 10 plus 13 till tn minus 1. Now you can observe here that these are terms in arithmetic progression, isn't it? So it's very easy to sum it up. So remember the arithmetic progression, here the first term is 1, common difference is 3, and the number of terms here is n. Correct? So let's use our formula, n by 2, 2a plus 2a means 2 into 1, by the way, into n minus 1 into d. So if you simplify this, it will become 3n minus 1. So this is your nth term. Okay. So please, when you get your nth term, verify your result. Is your result correct? If you put n as 2, do you get a 5? Check. Because your second term here is 5. Your second term here is 5. So do you get a 5 when you put n equal to 2? Every step you should verify. Yes, I get a 5. That means this result is correct. Are you getting my point? Now, once you have found your nth term, you know your rth term. If you know your rth term, you can always find out the sum till n terms by using sigma method of summation. So it's half summation 3r square minus summation r. Okay, and these results are very well known to us. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Okay. Now, several questions will be coming in your mind. Okay. Don't worry, I will address all of them. So is this approach clear? First of all, whatever I have done with this problem. Okay. Now, I'm sure most of you would be having this question. What if the difference did not give me an AP? Correct? But the difference of the difference gave me an AP. Right? So that is one question that comes in your mind. Second question that comes in your mind, what if it gave me a GP? Right? All those things will be coming in your mind. All right. And if at all those things are happening, is there any shorter way to solve the question? Because right now I can see this process is too lengthy. Right? So let me talk business over here. Let me directly jump to what I want you to actually learn. Okay. This is just to showcase what is the basic way of solving the question, but this is not a practical way of solving questions. So what all situations can come your way and what is the practical way of solving those questions? Now I'm going to discuss that with you. Okay. So in order to solve the same question, we will take shortcut approaches. I will show you those shortcut approaches. So meanwhile, if you have copied this, with your permission, can I go to the next slide? Can I go to the next slide? Okay. All right. Now let's first of all observe the numbers that was given to you. Let me get the question back again. Let's get the question back again. Okay. Now here, these terms that you have, okay, I'm just writing out the terms again. If you see the difference, okay, just the difference. Okay, you would realize that this is a AP. Now, it is quite possible that you may not get the difference as an AP in the first go. You may have to take the difference of the difference or difference of the difference of the difference. So let me just use the word delta T for it. Delta T means the difference of the terms. Okay, so many times you may have to find delta square T to get an AP. Okay, now here is a trend that I would like to discuss with you. The trend is, listen to this very carefully. The trend is, if these terms themselves were in AP, had these terms were in AP, your nth term would actually be a linear function of n, which we already know, right? When we learned AP, what is the nth term of an AP? Nth term of an AP is what? We normally used to write it as a plus n minus 1 d, right? It's actually dn plus a minus d. So it is something like an plus b kind of an expression, isn't it? Isn't it? So don't treat this a to be the same as this. Okay, so let me write it in capitals if you want to. Okay. So please remember, had your terms here been a arithmetic progression themselves, your nth term would have been a linear function of n. But right now your difference, that is the first difference, is an arithmetic progression. If your first difference is an arithmetic progression, then this whole thing will basically change to a quadratic in n. Are you getting my point? And this is scalable. For example, let us say if you had a series where, I'll just take an example. I don't know whether I have an example of that kind. Yeah, I think this example would be suitable. I'll take another example. Let's say I had 1, 4, 10, 20, 35. Okay. Here you will see that if you take the difference, you'll get 3, 6, 10, 15. Okay. And again, if you take the difference, 3, 4, 5. Now AP comes here. That means delta doesn't give you an AP, but delta square T gives you an AP. So if you realize that in your second difference, you're getting an AP, then for such a series, the nth term would be a cubic in n. So nth term will be of this nature, correct? Now, what is stopping you from getting is not knowing your capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D. That can be very easily be found out. That is actually not a problem at all. Okay. But the problem here is you understanding and appreciating this concept. Okay. Again, I'll repeat. If the terms themselves were in AP, your nth term is a linear function of n. That we have already seen in our nth term formula of AP. Correct. If your first difference is an AP, then your nth term of that original sequence will be a quadratic function of n. If your second difference is an AP, it will be a cubic in n. Third difference is an AP, then it will be a biquadratic in n, and so on and so forth. And of course, we'll not go to that extent. Okay. So anyways, with this in mind, let us solve for capital A, capital B, capital C. I'm just going to erase this off. Okay. So for knowing your capital A, capital B, capital C, all you need to do is use some special values of n. Let's say I put n as 1. 1 will give me A plus B plus C. And that is equated to the very first term over here. First term is 1. Okay. Put n as 2, you get 4A plus 2B plus C. And that is nothing but 5. Okay. Put n as 3, you will get 9A plus 3B plus C equal to 12. Now, many of you would be thinking, ayo, 3 equations, 3 unknowns, how do I solve it? This is very easy to solve. Just take the difference of these two. You get 3A plus B is equal to 4. Take a difference of these two, you get 5A plus B is equal to 7. Again, take a difference of these two, you get 2A is equal to 3. So A will become 3 by 2. Okay. If A is 3 by 2, B will be 4 minus 9 by 2. Okay. So from here, if you put 3 by 2, so B will be 4 minus 9 by 2, which is actually a minus half. Okay. If A is 3 by 2, B is minus half, C must be 0 to get a 1. So C is 0. That means your nth term is 3 by 2 n square minus n by 2. Okay, just check, is this what you had got in the previous method? Let's check. Let's go back. Let's check. 3n square minus n by 2. 3n square minus n by 2 we should have got. Yes. There you go. 3n square by 2 minus n by 2. Got it? 3n square by 2 minus n by 2. This is what we got, right? So this method is a much faster way to solve the question. And I'll show you another method also, which is even faster than this, right? So once you've found out your nth term, I'm sure you can find out your rth term also. And once you have found out your rth term, who can stop you from applying sigma method of summation, which again, I'm not going to do. So you can figure it out. Okay. Is this clear? Now, there was a guy by the name of Newton. What, sir? Such a famous person, and you're saying there was a guy by the name of Newton. So that guy, he gave another shortcut. Okay. So another shortcut, another method, third method probably. Okay. And I'm not going to prove this, but immediately after the class, I'm going to send the proof for this method. Okay. Now what this guy said, let me again copy this series. We had 1, 5, 12, 22, 35. Okay. So this guy said, if you have a sequence of numbers where if you start taking the differences of the terms, for example, if you take a difference here, okay, again take a difference, and eventually you start getting 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then he had a method, he had a very wonderful method to find out the nth term and also to find out the sum till nth term. Okay, so listen to this method. This is much, much faster. So this guy, Newton, he said that your nth term for this sequence will be, take this term, multiply it with n minus 1 C0. Now, as you know, this guy was good in your binomial theorem because he was the one who discovered it, invented it, by the way. Okay. So 1 into n minus 1 C0. Now, don't ask me the reason why. I'll send you the proof for this. Don't worry. Take the second term here. That means keep following this path. Okay. So take the second term, that is 4, and do n minus 1 C1. Okay. Take this third term and multiply it with n minus 1 C2. 0, of course, you needn't write it. So he said that this will be your nth term. Okay. Let's not believe him. Let's try to rectify our result. If I put n as 2, do I get a 5? Let's check. So 1 into this will be 1 C0, 4 into 2 C1. Oh, sorry, 1 C1, not 2 C1, 1 C1, because I'm putting n as 2, no? Now, what about this 1 C2? If this term is smaller than this, that is actually 0. So don't have to write it. Okay. So your answer will be 1 plus 4, 5. So this guy was a genius. Yes, the answer is 5. Okay. Let's try once more. Put 3. So 1 into 2C0, 4 into 2C1. And now this time you can write 3 into 2C2. So this will be 1 only. This will be 4 into 2, which is 8. And this is 3 into 1, which is 3. 12 is the answer. Was it 12? Yes, it was 12. Okay. But again, this method is very, very, you can say, particular to this particular type of sequence, right? If this doesn't happen, this method is of no use. Okay. So where you realize that you have been given a sequence like that, where the sequence is following this kind of a nature, that means if you keep on taking differences of the terms so that eventually it gives you 0, okay, then this Newton's method will be the much faster way to solve the question, right? Now, if you don't want to write your answer in terms of C, you can also write in terms of the expansion. So just write it in an expanded form. So this will be actually a 1 only. This will be 4 times n minus 1. This will be 3 times. Okay. This will be 3 times n minus 1, n minus 2 by 2. Okay. No need to simplify it. Now, This guy was also able to find out the sum till n terms also. This was the formula. Again, listen to this. The same number 1, but this time multiplied to nc1. Okay. The same number 4, this time multiplied to nc2. The same number 3, this time multiplied to nc3. So this guy said that this is going to be your sum till n terms. Surprising, no? Okay. Let's not believe him. Let's put n equal to 3 and let's check. Are we getting 18? That is 1 plus 5 plus 12. Let's check. So when I do that, I get 1 into 3c1, 4 into 3c2, 3 into 3c3. That's nothing but 3 plus 12 plus 3. Yes, this guy was a genius. You get an 18. Okay. Now this approach is to be only used in competitive level exam to save your time. If at all a question like this comes in your school, which is very unlikely, do not use this method. Okay. Newton's difference method. This is called the Newton's difference method. Difference method, also called as the delta method, because you are working on the differences. Delta means the difference. Is it fine? Now, one question is still not addressed. What if the differences here was not an AP? It was a GP. Then what to do? Okay. For that also there is a shortcut. So we'll go to that. Yeah, I know that Pranav, this will not be tested in your school exams. Okay. So let's take an example where the differences are in GP. So for that, let me pick up a question. Hey, let's pick up a question. Okay, let's have a question from my end. Let's say we want to find the sum of this series 1 plus 5 plus 18 plus 58 plus 179 and so on. Okay. Now here you realize that these terms, if you take the let me solve this in a normal way. How would somebody solve this in a normal way? So write the same series shifted 1 to the right. Okay. Take the difference. Take the difference. This will give you 0. Okay. By the way, last term, let it be Tn. So that this is Tn minus 1 plus Tn. Okay. So this will be 1. This will be 4. This will be 13. This will be 40. Okay. And this will be how much? 121. Correct. And so on. I hope I'm not missing out anything. Correct. Right. Now, Tn here is 1 plus 4 plus 13 plus 40 plus 121 till Tn minus 1. So what I did was I just took this guy to the left side. Okay. Now this is not in any progression, right? This is not an AP, not a GP. So what I'll do, I'll take one more, the same thing, shift it again 1 units to the right or 1 place to the right. So double I'm applying. Okay. So whatever is this term, and I'll just write down the last term of this guy as, let's say, Tn dash. Okay. So T dash n minus 1, T dash n. Okay. Again, I'll subtract. So 0 will be equal to 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 27 plus 81 and so on till Tn dash minus T dash n minus 1 minus Tn dash. Okay. Take it to the other side. Guys, let me tell you, this process is super long, right? So now you found out Tn dash by using the fact that this is a GP. Correct? Yes or no? This is a GP whose first term is 1, common ratio is 3, and the number of terms are n. So this will be 3 to the power n minus 1 by 2. And if you sum up Tn dash, or you can say Tr dash, you're going to get Tn. That means on summing this up, you are going to end up getting Tn. And again, you have to sum that up. Correct? And that will be like too long a problem. But let me still complete it so that you get an idea. So this is your Tn, which is summation of this, which is half. By the way, this is summation 3 to the power r minus summation 1, which is n. So half, this will be 3 to the power n minus 1 by 2 minus n. Okay, so this gives you 3 by 4, 3 to the power n minus 1 minus n by 2. Okay, you can basically confirm your answer by putting n as 2. If you put n as 2, are you getting 5? Check. If I put n as 2, I get 9 minus 1 minus 2 by 2. Yes, it gives me 5 minus 1, which is, sorry, 6 minus 1. 6 minus 1, which is 5. Okay. Now, why I'm giving you this approach is because I want you to realize how big it is to solve a question in this way. And still my job is not done. I've found out my nth term as of now, right? So I've found out my nth term, or you can say rth term as of now. And again, in order to find out the sum, that is your final answer, you have to apply sigma method of summation on it. That is my like, oh my God, sir, this is going to be so big, right? And that's the reason why I'm going to give you a shortcut, because this is not a feasible way to solve a question in a competitive exams. Your at least 10-15 minutes will go in this one, right? Okay. So now here is a shortcut, and the shortcut is very interesting. This shortcut will help you directly come to the nth term of this sequence. Okay. And after that, you have to apply sigma method. So I'll just show you the shortcut, but if you still want to copy this, you can. Anybody who's interested in copying this? Sir, anyways, you're going to tell us a shortcut. We'll copy that only. Okay, let it be in the notes only. All right. So the second method which I'm going to discuss is slightly more convenient, but of course not very fast also. Sir, didn't we find Tn here? Aditya, we found out Tn, and we can find out Sn. Tn dash also we found out. This was your Tn dash. But Tn dash is the nth term of the difference, my dear. It is not the nth term of the actual series. Aditya, we need the actual series nth term, no? Yeah, that is the problem. This Tn dash is when you have taken the difference. So that last term of that difference is your Tn dash. But actually our aim was not to find Tn dash. Our aim was to find out your Tn. Correct. Okay. So you have to go to two procedures to reach your Tn, which is lengthy. Okay. Now guys, understand this. I'll again rewrite the terms 1, 5, 18, 58, 179. 1, 5, 18, 58, 179. Okay. Now, if at all you are confronted with a sequence like this, where when you take the difference, okay, let's say, I'm just giving an example, hypothetical case. Let's say you took the difference, that is delta t, and you realize that the answer here was a GP. Okay, let's go back to one more step. Let's say, hypothetically, let's say this was a GP. Okay, what would have been your nth term? You will say a r to the power n minus 1. Let us say, I'm just taking a hypothetical case that this was a GP, which it is not. Okay, if it was a GP, your nth term would have been this. Correct. Now remember, if let's say this is not in GP, but the first difference. Okay, let's say I write down the first difference. If let's say this were in GP, which again it is not, I'm just taking a hypothetical case. If it is in GP, then what will happen? Your nth term would actually have this plus a linear expression in n. This is the trend. Okay, are you getting my point? If the first difference is a GP, then apart from a r, what is now r here? You'll ask. So what is r here? R will be the common ratio of this GP which is getting formed over here. A, B, C will be unknown. So let me write them as capital A, just like I did it for Okay, so let me write it capital A, capital B, capital C. And don't get confused, this capital A is not the first term. No, this capital A is not 4. It is some constant ABC which we'll find out later on. Are you getting the point? Now let's say here, this is not a GP, but again, if you take the difference, 9, 27, 81, this is actually a GP whose common ratio is 3, then what will happen? This changes to a quadratic in n. Are you getting my point? Now your question will be, will this guy remain as it is? Yes, this guy will not change at all. The first term will not change at all, right? And for that matter, this R should be replaced with this common ratio, which is 3. Right? So this shortcut, again, I'm not going to prove it. This shortcut helps you to directly know what is your nth term. Your nth term would be of this nature. A 3 to the power n minus 1, bn square plus cn plus d. Right? Now the big challenge here that will come is, how do you know A, B, C and D? That is very simple. Just start putting your n as 1. So if you put 1, what do you get? You get A plus B plus C plus D equal to the first term, which is 1. Put n as 2. If you put n as 2, you get 3A plus 4B plus 2C plus D is equal to 5. Put n as 3. Put n as 3. You will get 9A plus 9B plus 3C plus D is equal to, what was the next term? Next term was, I think, 18. Okay. Put put n as 4. You end up getting 27A. Okay. 16B, 4C plus D is equal to, the next term was 58. Okay. Let's solve for it. So take the difference. Difference will end up giving you the result in a much faster way. 2A plus 3B plus C is equal to 4. Then 6A plus 5B plus C is equal to 13. Then 18A plus 7B plus C is equal to 40. Again, take the difference. 4A plus 2B is 9. And 12A plus 2B is equal to 27. Again, take the difference. 8A is equal to 18. So you get A as 9 by 2. Okay. Any questions? Sorry, not 9 by 2, 9 by 4. My bad. Okay. So A is known. So let's find B. If you put it over here, B will be 0. So B is known. Correct. So if you put in this equation, you will get 9 by 2 plus C is equal to 4. So C is equal to minus half. So C is known. Correct. Now if let's put it in the first equation. If 9 by 4 and B is 0, this is minus half plus D equal to 1. So what will be D here? What will be D here? D will be 3 by 2 minus 9 by 4, which is minus 3 by 4. Okay, so D is also known. So your nth term, I'm going to write it over here. Your nth term is going to be 9 by 4, 3 to the power n minus 1. This will go off because B is 0. I think C was minus half. So this will be minus half n. And D was minus 3 by 4. D was minus 3 by 4. Okay, which is actually nothing but 3 by 4 into 3 to the power n minus n by 2 minus 3 by 4. Is it fine? Did we get the same thing over here? Yes, this answer is the same as what we got over here. Remember, minus 3 by 4 comes out from here, right? So now this approach is much more predictable. I'm not saying it is faster. It is predictable. You don't have to take difference of the difference of the difference and all, right? What is important here is to understand how this Tn is actually taken. And that depends upon in whichth difference you start getting a GP. So if it's originally a GP, only the first term, capital A r to the power n minus 1 will be there. If your first difference is a GP, then a linear term will be added up, Bn plus C. If your second difference is a GP, then a quadratic in n will be added up, and so on and so forth. Make sense? Any questions here? So once you know your nth term, you will be always be able to find out the sum of the series as well, which I'm not doing because I know you can manage it out. Okay. But before we close, I would like to give one more question on this, and then we can go to the VN method of summation. Let's do this question. I would just like you to give me the nth term. No need to sum it up. Find, oh, sorry. Find the nth term. Ayyo, what are you doing? Yeah. Find out the nth term of this sequence. No need to sum it up because summing is already easy. You already know it. Done? Anybody? All right, just try to identify here. 2, 5, 12, 31, 86. Let's take the difference. 3, 3, 7, 19, 55. Then again 4, 12, 36. Now here we caught it as a GP. GP with R equal to 3. Okay. Now in the second difference, let's say this is delta T difference, this is delta square T difference. In the second difference, I'm getting a GP. So what will be my net term? Remember, what did I tell you? A, the common ratio involved to the power n minus 1, that will always be there. Now you're getting it as a second difference, so it will be a quadratic in n, the same way as we did the previous question. Okay. Now we have to get our A, B, C, and D values. That's easy. Put A as 1. Put N as 1. Put N as 1. You end up getting A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 2. Okay. Then put T as 2. You get 3A plus 4B plus 2C plus D is equal to 5. Put N as 3. You get 9A plus 9B plus 3C plus D is equal to 12. Put 4, you get 27A plus 16B plus 4C plus D is equal to 31. Take the difference. 2A plus 5B plus C is equal to 3. Again, take a difference. 6A plus 5B plus C is equal to 7. And 18A plus 7B, this is 3B by the way, plus 7B plus C is equal to 19. Okay, again take the difference. 4A plus 2B is equal to 4 and 12A plus 2B is equal to 12. Again take the difference. 8A is equal to 8, so A is equal to 1. Everybody is getting A is equal to 1. If A is equal to 1, B will be 0. Coincidentally, again B is 0. So if A is 1, B is 0, C has to be 1 again. Okay. A is 1, C is 1, D is 0. That means your nth term of your sequence will be 3 to the power n minus 1 plus n. Correct? Let's verify whether our result is correct. Put n as 3, are you getting 12? Put n as 3, are we getting 12? Oh yeah, we are getting 12. So this answer is correct, right? Now let's say hypothetically the question had been to find the sum till n terms, right? So you would just do sigma of TR, okay, which is sigma of 3 to the power r minus 1 plus r. Individually you can do it like this. This is like you are summing, all of you please try to understand this. This is actually a GP which goes from 3 to the power 0 all the way till 3 to the power n minus 1, right? And this result is n plus 1 by 2, which you already know. Correct? Let's complete this also. So this fellow will be 1 into 3 to the power n minus 1 by 2 plus n into n plus 1 by 2. This is your answer. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so one will take on Newton difference method also. Find the nth term and the sum to n terms. I hope you can see this 12, 40, 90, 168 and so on. Guys, in the interest of time, because I have to do your VN method of summation also, which is not that simple also, I'll also work along with you. Yeah. Let's figure out the difference. So 28, 50, 78, 112, 152. Correct? Correct? Let's again take the difference. So this is 22, 28, 34. This is 40. Okay. Again take the difference. 6, 6, 6. Again take the difference 0, 0. Okay. Now when you realize that this is happening, that means you have eventually started getting 0. Then Newton's difference method is going to be very, very useful. So your nth term will be what? 12 into n minus 1 C0. So 12 into n minus 1 C0, then 28 into n minus 1 C1, then 22 into n minus 1 C2, then 6 into n minus 1 C3. Okay. If you want, you can expand it and write it in terms without your C's. And your Sn will be same 12 into nc1, 28 into nc2, 22 into nc3 and 6 into nc4. Okay, so this will be your answers. Is it fine? So both these shortcuts are understood by you all, right? So now we are going to move towards the VN method of summation. Now VN method of summation is basically a very special type of method of difference, okay, which is used in various cases. It is specially used in those cases where you are able to break down any RF term as a difference of two such functions which are consecutive in R. Right? Do you realize when I was trying to find out the special series formulae, I did a similar activity. Remember, I wrote one as k plus 1, or let me write it as r plus 1, and other I wrote it as, okay, let's say I was trying to find out the sum of squares of natural numbers. I wrote it like this. So this is a typical example of this, where if you're calling this as VR, then this will automatically become VR minus 1. Okay. So in such kind of methods, this method works on splitting this term as a difference of two such terms, which are the same functions, but one in terms of R, other in terms of R minus 1, or vice versa. It is not necessary that it will always be R first and R minus 1 second. It could be the other way around also, R minus 1 minus R. Okay. Now, What type of questions will come on this, and how can we apply, or how can we split it as difference of two such functions which are actually the same functions, one written in R, another written in R minus 1 or R plus 1, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let me give you an example of such a function. Okay, I'll start with a simple example, very simple question. Let's say I want to sum up 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, and so on till n terms. Okay. Now you would be thinking, sir, why you're teaching VN method for this? We can always write down the Rth term as R plus 1, R plus 2. And we can apply sigma method of summation. Absolutely correct. You can definitely do it. Right. But listen to one more method. I think this will make your life slightly easy. Right. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to assume a function VR. Okay. And that function will be the same term as TR, but one more term after this. Okay. So what I did was, this is R plus 1, R plus 2. I wrote one more term, R plus 3. Now see what I'm going to do. If this is a VR, what is your VR minus 1? Your VR minus 1 will be R minus 1, R plus 1, R plus 2. Correct? Yes or no? Now take the difference of the two terms. If you take the difference of these two, you would realize that these three terms are common in both of them, right? So you can actually take it common here. Okay. And this will be R plus 3 minus the first term R minus 1. If you see this very closely, you end up getting 4 times R plus 1, R plus 2. Correct? Now this term is what? This term is TR only, no? This term is your TR. Right? So bring this 4 down and you can write your TR as 1/4 VR minus VR minus 1. This is what we wanted. So most of you would be thinking, okay, fine, you got it, but how is it helping you to solve the sum? It is very much helping you to solve the sum. If you put your R as 1, you end up getting this. If you put as R as 2, you end up getting this. If you put R as 3, you end up getting this. And keep doing it till you reach your nth term, so which will be 1/4 Vn minus 1. Dot, 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 dot. Okay. Now try to add it. If you add it, T1, T2, T3 till Tn is your sum. Here you would realize that a lot of these terms will start getting cancelled out, leaving you with Vn minus V0. And there you go, you got your answer in one shot, 1/4 Vn. Vn is basically, replace your R with N over here in this. So that's nothing but N into N plus 1 into N plus 2 into N plus 3 minus V0. V0 is put your R as 0, which is anyway 0. Okay, which is anyway 0. So this is your answer. Okay. You may verify your answer also. This is absolutely correct. Okay. Now, through this example, I wanted to give you a shortcut. Again, a shortcut. Yes, there is a shortcut. And that shortcut is basically meant for such kind of examples which I just gave you. Okay. So I'd give you a shortcut for this. So first you make a note of this. And if you have any questions, do ask. But this is an art, guys. This doesn't breaking it as a difference of two functions, which is, the same function, one written in R, another written in R minus 1 or R plus 1. It's not easy to do it. It comes with a lot of practice. I'll tell you, that's what is the formula actually, Aditya. So this example is very much a part of a conventional approach. Okay, that approach is what I'm going to discuss with you. Okay, so what I'm going to give you is a very special case, or we can say a very generic case and try to give you the results, right? So let us say if somebody was asking you to sum up a series like this. Let me put my camera down over here. Okay. Okay. Where A1, A2, A3, etc. till AN are in arithmetic progression. So as you can see, this is a very generic case of the example which I took. So 1, 2, 3, they themselves are in arithmetic progression, right? Okay. And let's say the common difference with common difference as D. Okay. Now, I've already shown you the approach, but I would repeat this again for you. So in such cases, your rth term is basically AR, AR plus 1, and so on till A. If I put N as R, what do you get? 2R minus 1. Am I right? Actually, I should not use the rth term over here. I should use the kth term because R is already being used. Okay. So this will give you A. Rth term will give you R plus K minus 1. Right? Now, in such kind of questions, we always formulate a term Vk by adding one more factor had it continued, right? So this continues, let's say like this, and one more factor if you add, it becomes Rk plus 1. Are you getting my point? And if you do Vk minus 1, you will always end up getting, R plus 1d times Tr. Okay. Try to figure it out. Okay. And your Tr will always be 1 plus R minus 1d, Vk minus 1. And your sum till n terms will become R plus 1d, Vn minus V0. This is the formula that I would request you to note down. Let me show you in an example here. So in this example, your number of terms, R is nothing but how many terms are there in each one of these expressions. So R terms, in this case here, 3 is your R because there are 3 terms. Okay. So your answer here would become 1 by 3 plus 1. D is the common difference. Common difference, as you can see, for this the common difference is 1. Okay. So into 1. Vn minus V0. That will give you 1/4 Vn minus V0. Didn't we get the same thing when I was trying to solve this? Look at this step. Look at this step. 1/4 Vn minus V0. Okay. So once you know your Vn, once you know your, you already know your Vn, you have to just take one more factor after your Tn term, that is your Vn, and subtract V0 and do 1 by R plus 1d, your job is done. Okay, let me give you another example. Let's say I want to do this 1 into 3 into 5 into 7, 3 into 5 into 7 into 9, 5 into 7 into 9 into 11, and so on. Let's say till n terms. Correct? Now, what's your nth term over here? Nth term here will be 2n minus 1, 2n plus 1, 2n plus 3, 2n plus 7, 2n plus 5, sorry. Okay. Dear all, please do not make a mistake in your nth term writing because everything will go for a toss. So Aditya, just to answer your response, how do you know? This is always the case. You have to take one more factor after this. This will become your Vn. Okay. Now use this formula. Use this formula. Sn will be 1 by R plus 1d. Now what is R? R is the total number of terms in a given Rth term. So 4 terms are there. So 4 plus 1 into d. D is the common difference, which is 2. Vn, this is your Vn. Okay. Minus V0. V0 is when you put n as 0 over here. So remember, when you put n as 0, you'll get minus 1 into 1 into 3 into 5 into 7. Okay. Now I'm sure you can simplify this, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to write it like this: 1 by 10. And this is 2n minus 1, 2n plus 1, 2n plus 3, 2n plus 5, 2n plus 7. And this is going to be minus plus 105. Okay, this is your answer. Understood? Guys, I may extend the session by 5 more minutes, so please bear with me so that we can wrap this up in today's class only. Let me give you another question. Let's say 1, 4, 7, 4, 7, 11. Sorry, 4, 7, 10, 7, 10, 13. Let's say I have to do it till n terms. Now, all of you, please do it on your this thing notebook. What will be the sum? Directly you write down the answer. By the way, don't try it if you are not very sure about your nth term. Nth term here would be 3n minus 2, 3n plus 1, and 3n plus 4. Okay. Many people make a mistake in writing the nth term. They think it is n plus 3, n plus 6. No, it is not. Just follow the first terms of this series, 1, 4, 7. So 1, 4, 7, if you follow the first terms, your nth term's first term will be 3n minus 2. So the other 2 is just obtained by adding 3, 3 to these terms. So this is your nth term. So what will be your Vn term? Vn term will be 3n minus 2, 3n plus 1, 3n plus 4. Now, had you continued for one more factor, you would have got 3n plus 7. Okay. Now, we already know the formula. Formula is 1 plus r plus 1d, Vn minus V0. So r here is 3. So 3 plus 1, 4. D is 3 here. Vn is already on your screen right there. Okay. Minus V0, put your n as 0. If you put your n as 0, you get minus 2 into 1 into 4 into 7. Let's simplify this just to complete the problem. This is going to be your answer. And if you want, you can always verify, but don't do it right now because we are already in a crunch of time. Okay. Is this fine? Is the approach understood? Okay. Now, there's one more type of question where your VN method will be applied. So I am giving you as a type 2 questions. So these are those questions where you have the same in a, let's say A1, A2, etc. are there in the denominator. Yeah. Okay. So a typical example, let me write it, where A1, A2 are in AP with common difference D. Common difference D. Okay. A simple example I would like to give you. Let me start with a similar question which I had taken just a little while ago. But instead of having 1, 2, 3 on the numerator, they are in the denominators. Okay. And many times they may ask you the sum till infinite terms also, because these are normally convergent series. So here also I'll give you a formula trick to do it. So first write down the nth term. In this case, the nth term will be 1 by n, n plus 1, n plus 2, right? Here the Vn term is chosen again by dropping this term. Remember in the previous example, the Vn term was chosen by adding one more factor. Here it is chosen by dropping the first factor. Okay. Now if this is Vn, Vn minus 1 will be 1 by n, n plus 1. Okay. Take the difference. If you take the difference, you will get 1 by n plus 1, 1 by n minus 1 by n plus 2. That actually will give you 2 by n, n plus 1, n plus 2. Okay. So what you see over here is that your Vn minus 1 minus Vn is 2 times. Now remember, 1 by this is actually your nth term, right? So your Tn is half of Vn minus 1 minus Vn. Now this is the beauty of the question. So you have to start putting your n value as 1. So when you put 1, you get V0 minus V1. When you put 2, you get V1 minus V2. And da 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 da. Oh, sorry. And da, 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 till you go to n, this will become this. Okay. If you add them, you'll get the sum as half of. Now everything will get cancelled other than V0 and Vn, right? So half V0 minus Vn will be the answer. Now you all know that Vn is this. Vn is already known to you. So if you put V0 means n as 0, you will get 1 into 2 minus 1 by n plus 1 n plus 2. Okay. So this answer is going to be this. Now, let me write it as 1/4 minus half n plus 1 n plus 2. Now this is your sum till n terms. If you want to sum till infinite terms, then this guy will become a 0. So your answer will be 1/4. Now is there any shortcut for this? Yes, there's a shortcut for this. I'll give you a shortcut. I hope you have copied this down. Okay. So the shortcut is, if you have this kind of a question, your sum till n terms will be, note down, 1 by r minus 1d v naught minus vn. Again, you know how to formulate vn. Vn is obtained by dropping the first factor. Okay. R is the number of terms that you have in this, and D is the common difference that is there in this particular AP. Okay. Let me give you another example so that you can understand the concept. Let's say I want to sum up 1 by 1 into 4 into 7 by 1 by 4 into 7 into 10 and so on till n terms and also till infinite terms. Okay. So first write down your nth term. Nth term will be 1 by 3n minus 2, 3n plus 1, 3n plus 3. Sorry, 3n plus 4. So your Vn is obtained by dropping the first guy. Okay. And then you can directly write your answer. Your sum till n terms will be 1 by r minus 1. R minus 1 will be 3 minus 1. D will be 3 because common difference is 3. V0 will be 1 by 1 into 4 minus Vn. If you are really looking to save a lot of time in your competitive level exam, you can definitely use this. And by the way, if you simplify this, this comes out to be 1 by 24 minus 1 by 6, 3n plus 1, 3n plus 4. Okay. This is the sum till n terms. Now, what is the sum till infinite terms? I've already told you that make this sum as 0 because when n is very large, the denominator will make it very large and this term will vanish. Is this fine? Now, just 5 more minutes I'll take of yours. I would also like to cover with you arithmetico-geometric series. Arithmetico. This is the last part of this chapter. Geometric series. Now, these type of series basically contains such terms which have got AP as well as a GP in it. So something like this. Okay. So here you realize that these terms are going in AP. Okay. And these terms, let's say start with 1 R, R square, R cube, etc. They are going in a GP. Okay. So what is the way to sum this kind of a series? Let us understand with a simple problem. Okay. Just one problem will take up and that would be good enough for you to understand that concept. Let's pull a question. Yeah, let's take this question. Find the sum of this series. Now, it has two questions. One is to n terms, other is to infinite terms. Now, what is the approach here? The approach that we take is we always focus on what is the common ratio of, first of all, let's go to nth term. What will be the nth term? If I'm not mistaken, the nth term will be 3n minus 2 by 5 to the power n minus 1. Am I right? Okay. Now, what do we focus on? We focus on what is the common ratio involved. So the common ratio involved is 1 by 5. So we multiply the whole series with 1 by 5 and write it one shifted to the right. So 1 by 5 will come here, 4 by 5 square will come over here, 7 by 5 cube will come over here, 3n minus 5 by 5 to the power n minus 1 will come over here, and 3n minus 2, 5 to the power n will come over here, right? Now take the difference. When you take the difference, you get 4s by 5. This will give you 1 plus 3 by 5 plus 3 by 5 square plus 3 by 5 cube and so on till 3 by 5 to the power n minus 1 minus 3n minus 2 by 5 to the power n. Okay. Now I'm sure anybody can recognize that starting from this term to this term, it's a geometric progression, isn't it? So if it is a geometric progression, we can always find out the sum till, now there are n minus 1 terms here. That is to be very, very carefully noted. So a 1 minus common ratio to the power of total number of terms by 1 minus 1 by 5. And this last term, you can add it like this. Okay. Now, dear all, I would leave up to you to simplify this to a certain extent. I will not do everything. I think this will be 3 by 4. Okay. Just multiply throughout with 5 by 4. And your job is done. This is your sum till n terms. Understood? So what is the approach? Approach is nothing. Just take that common ratio of that AGP into account, multiply the whole series and subtract the results. Once you subtract, you'll always realize that a GP will appear. Just write down the sum of that GP, make S the subject of the formula, your job is done. Okay. Now, the second part of the question was, how do you sum it till infinite terms? Now, for infinite terms, it is even easier. So what do you do in this case? I just write down the whole thing once again. 4 by 5, 7 by 5 square, 10 by 5 cube, till infinity. So here also the approach is same. Multiply with the common ratio of that GP involved. Write it one shifted to the right. Okay. And you don't have to worry about the last term because it is going up to infinity. Correct. Subtract the two results. So this will give you 4s by 5. This will give you 1, 3 by 5, 3 by 5 square, 3 by 5 cube up till infinity. Correct. This itself is an infinite GP. This itself is an infinite GP. Okay. So that sum is very easy to find out. That is nothing but 1 plus a by 1 minus the common ratio. That's nothing but 4s by 5 is 1 plus 3 by 4. That's nothing but 7 by 4. Yeah, so this gives you S as 35 by 16. So this is going to be your answer. Is this fine? So thank you for extending the session by 5 more minutes. Really appreciate. By the way, 7 people have gone. Sir, आज इतना ही हो पाएगा हमसे. Okay, so with this.